Okay, hello, Jesse. Please tell people about the plot and vibe of your short film, A Nice Lady.
Oh, okay. The plot and vibe. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So the plot is this woman is a somewhat savvy New York painter. She's an artist. She is a privileged woman of means. She's gone to a great college, gone to an art school. She's living in New York and painting and is a bit reclusive. She encounters this young couple selling their wares in Central Park. And they could be homeless, they could not, they have a room somewhere. And she then eventually romanticizes them and invites them to live with her for a time until they get their shit together. And then it's what that invitation evokes and creates in their living together in their shared space and everything that ensues at that moment on.
And
And
yeah, the vibe.
yeah, the vibe.
Yeah.
Okay, the vibe is artsy and indie, and it's like a psychodynamic thriller, high stakes emotional investment. That would be the vibe.
Okay,
And it's
perfect.
very New York. It's very New
Yeah.
York. That's the other definite vibe.
Oh yeah. And was there a real life scenario that influenced this film?
Not more than being an artistic person who, been involved with artistic people and living in New York City. The one thing that I definitely have in common is that I run a lot in Central Park. I live in Brooklyn now, but I used to run a lot in Central Park. And I used to encounter really interesting people, and I loved the vibe of watching them watching, me and the other runners, and getting used to being in the same environment and kind of running and doing it on a regular basis, and then seeing all these same people on guitars or by the Imagine Circle selling buttons, pins, and hats, and just sort of waving, and then what it would mean to get involved with them. And that was the fantasy that occurred.
I love it. And so you said there's a psychosexual element here.
Yes,
And
definitely.
what do you think? Are you a fan of 90s erotic thrillers?
Well, give me an example. Yes, I think I am, but give me an example of one that you're thinking of specifically.
Uh like I think of like pretty basic like cable ones. So I mean you could say like I guess like the big one would be what was it, Basic Instinct?
Oh yeah, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Basic Instinct, and then what was the one with oh yeah, Basic Instinct was definitely an interesting film. I don't know that I'm a fan of the psychosexual 90s thrillers. I think that
They've
I'm
dated it in an
actually
interesting way, but yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I like watching them now for more of a comedic edge, or more of a like, you gross, I can't look away. But like, yes, definitely, I've been a fan of them. Let's say that.
That's fair. That's fair. Our tastes, grow in time after time as well, the passage of time. But let's
For
say
sure.
you have a cinema and you have to play one of these movies before, or sorry, after the short. Which one would it be?
Ooh, okay. So I have to play, okay. It wouldn't be Basic Instinct.
Right. Okay.
You know what? It might be, I don't know why. This is not necessarily a thriller, but I'm thinking Working Girl. I don't know why.
Okay.
I'm thinking 90s. I'm thinking, Melanie Griffith. I really liked that movie as like a young kid. And I remember watching it a number of times and just being like, can that actually happen? Can a woman who doesn't have, like, I just was like, I was very interested in that dynamic. So that's the one that's popping in my head that I might play after my short, just for shits and
Okay.
giggles, maybe.
Yeah, of course. And if there was something a bit more recent or maybe a bit more tasteful, but still dealing with the psychosexual, Which other film would you play after this short film?
Oh, okay. More recent. Oh, okay. Um, huh.
It's a good question though, right?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I mean, it's not really The Devil Wears Prada, maybe. I'm thinking
Okay.
just of like women, power women. It's not necessarily the same dynamic in I'm gonna kill your rabbit, but like, or maybe I'd go back in time and go play Psycho.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
because I really think that like the interpersonal dynamics in that were very interesting to say the least.
Oh yes. Okay.
Yes.
So, well, was there a particular topic or theme you wanted to explore with the short, or maybe talk about the power dynamic that we see here?
Yeah, yeah. So I thought about it much as a dance, a choreographer, like a choreographed dance in which three people are kind of having this power struggle, where if you think like almost a round robin game, one person is at the top, like a triangle, right? There's always going to be someone who's in the power position, and if they fall like if it were a triangle and if they're in the power position, how do they slide down and then make room for the next person? Um, so there's definitely, well, you think you have me on that? I'm going to get you over here. And then you think you have me here? Well, I'm going to come from behind and, make my mark or stake my claim. And I think that the lead, the lead is she's a very one of these people that's constantly looking behind her back or waiting for the next gotcha. Not as someone who maybe takes a deep breath every now and then. That's very hard for Gwen to do. And I think she's often in a tight squeeze and waiting for someone to, one up her. And I think that's how she goes about existing in life. And then the other two leads, how they sort of come into contact with that and how they collide with that, if that throws them off or if that, makes them more powerful. And that was something that I was thinking of constantly when I having the vision and how to direct
I love it. All right.
it.
Now, who is the greatest of all time, the GOAT today, and who is just the GOAT period of
Okay.
directors?
Okay. Well, the GOAT today, I think, has to go. I mean, I always go to women, so I'm going to go to Greta Gerwig, of course. I think that she's doing a great job representing women in their struggles, representing people, I want to say. And I think I say specifically women because for me, she's kind of nailing the fact that there's just so many expectations of the different hats that women wear and don't see them becoming enraged or angry or doing the wrong thing. So I definitely think that she hits that from multiple angles. Now, the GOAT director of all time. I mean, I'm so into Alfred Hitchcock right now. I've been watching a lot of old Hitchcock and I love the visuals and I have a hard time finding someone better.
Okay,
I
well,
I'm obsessed.
which ones have you been enjoying by him?
Birds and Psycho and Rear Window. But really like Psycho, I've watched a number of times recently because I think the acting is so, so good. And I think obviously the direction is incredible, but it's almost as if I don't know, like such a meticulous, diligent, intentional director. But then there's something about the direction that leads to lifting up the actors to really enhance all of the directing elements almost magically. And it's like there's no bad for me when I was watching Psycho recently, I was like, there's just no bad take. There's no bad moment. And I'm like, did this man storyboard? Was he up at night? I mean, I know he storyboarded, but like within an inch of his life, was he up at night? He didn't have an iPhone to take like, a shot where he was like, oh, I envisioned the shot, or he didn't. I mean, it was like so much more difficult and laborious back then, but I don't know. That's where I'm at today, but could change next week.
I'm saying solid picks. Greta Gerwig,
Okay.
goat of today, and of all time, we're going for Hitch.
Catchy.
Yeah. All right. Do you see a feature-length future for our nice lady?
I do. That's definitely in the works in terms of like I have a script written. I did the feature length script before I even wrote the short. And then I cut it down to a short, and then I bulked it up again to like a medium short. Then I slimmed it down. I mean, there's so much iterations that I have done where I've created in my head this could be a TV series, and so you know, in crafting the short and the direction we went with the short and the ending, there was very much a desire to create a proof of concept that could engage audiences to be like, oh, well, I'd like to see what happens next week, or, 5 days from now, or in 3 months, 5 years from now. So that's definitely playing in my head for
That's
sure.
that's wild. How many different versions of this story do you think you've done? Like written, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, let's see, at least two or three different endings. I've written a lot of backstory for each character. I've written many other characters that don't exist in the short. So I anywhere from like three solid, let's say three or four solid versions. Yeah.
And how long have you been living with this material?
Since the pandemic. But during the pandemic, I was writing a lot, and I feel like everyone was either baking or writing or knitting, and I was writing a lot, and I wrote a version, and then I put it to bed for about 2 years
Oh,
and gave it to a friend of mine who's a writer producer, and she read it and she was like, "This is a great short. Let me help you edit it down to a short." And then she helped me edit it down to a short, which then I changed a lot before making this. Um, but yeah, definitely have lived with the material for a long time and stole from other pieces that I wrote where I was like, oh, this character should go here, and maybe this character enters. And so it's been an interesting evolution to say the least. Like, so it's been years in the making, definitely.
I love it.
Um,
And how
Thank
long
you.
how long is like a good writing sesh for you?
Um, okay, these days, I would say, I mean, honestly, I've had some great inspiration sessions that I just spent 28 minutes doing.
Hmm.
And then also, I would say a good daily session has to be at least a half an hour, but I prefer to get in 2 or 3 hours. Um, but yeah, sometimes if I just have a half an hour, I've been finding these writing exercises online that I grab, and I'm like, okay, retell this story in 13 minutes and what comes out of it, and how does this change a perception of what you did last week, or something, maybe it's just a character study that you work on.
Wow. What's this site that you're on?
It's just honestly, there are a number of different writing sites that I go to where I'm like, actually, I just use sometimes I've been using I'll use ChatGPT and I'll say, give me the five best sites for writing exercises, or the five best sites that have character studies, or give me the greatest uh what did I ask the other day? I looked for I was working on a character study, and I wanted to do someone that suffered from sort of myopic perspective of their life, and then schizophrenic perspective. And so I was doing a character study and giving them a bunch of mental illnesses. So I asked, where I could find that, and then to work on what that would look like.
So you used to just sort of bounce ideas off. There's
Yeah.
there's no like cheat code script writing website for people just to. Yeah, okay.
No, not really. I
Mhm.
mean,
Right.
you think there is, and you try them because it's worth it to try them to be like, oh, let me go on this. And it never, I mean, it's
Right.
like, it never, yeah, you always have to go back and back and back. And whatever cheat code you get or, algorithm, it just, everybody becomes so much more generic. And it's like the way to cut off a character's balls, so to speak, is to try to do it, on any sort of device or tool like that. Definitely.
What about like script writing gurus? What do you think of those guys? And just
Oh,
like
I think,
story structure in general.
yeah, I work with, I've taken a bunch of script writing courses after college, and I work with a couple of editors that I love, a couple of screenwriters themselves. My dad's a screenwriter, so
Oh,
I did a lot, had a lot of coaching from him. Um, and oftentimes, I actually, the first time I gave him this script to read and he read it, he was like, no. Mm-mm. And I was like,
aw,
what do you mean? And he was like, oh, I loved it, but I can't help you with this script. It's too sexual. You're my daughter. And I was like, oh, okay.
that's fair. That's fair.
So yeah, oh, it's completely fair, completely fair.
Love it. All right. So tell me about the festival circuit of this film.
Yeah, yeah. So last night I went to Smod Castle in Atlantic Highlands, Kevin Smith's film festival.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we're showing there this Saturday at 5 p.m. Um, but I went to their opening night festival just to get like a vibe for the film festival, and it was very cool. And it was interesting to hear him speak. Such a dynamic guy. And we are premiering tomorrow night at the Chain Film Festival in Manhattan. Very excited to do that. And then we head to first River Bend, Indiana, on August 30th. We're in the Riverbend Film Festival. And then we go to Lake County Film Festival in Illinois, Lake County, Illinois, early September. And we don't have that schedule up quite yet, but we'll be getting it up. And so I don't know the exact date and time of that one, but
Is
very excited.
Oh yeah, that's great. I love it. It's beautiful. The festivals are fun. Um, is there like a direct goal in transmitting something to the audience with this short film? Are you trying to take something from your head and put it out to the world?
um, yeah, I guess the sort of the main takeaway would be that, you know, people and their emotions and motivations are, especially in relationship, heightened relationship, are never predictable and they are never generic. There's never one way to process something that occurs or your trauma. And that I want with this short to examine the many different ways that emotion and trauma and behavior can combine to create an interesting story.
Groovy.
Sometimes a nice lady is not so nice, and sometimes in trying to be nice, person is not a lady, whether they're a man or a woman, they're,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah. Moral ambiguity, right?
definite moral ambiguity. But
And
that
t
makes for a more interesting viewing pleasure.
and tell me about the casting process and how you arrived at these people.
Yeah. So I have a great casting director, Steve Vincent, out of New York City, and he gave me a number of wonderful actors to see. He introduced them to me via tapes, and the lead I always had in mind for Molly Bernard, who was in the show Younger. I'm a big fan of hers, and I loved that show. And I thought, I just kept picturing her in the role. So I wrote her a letter and sent her the script, and I was very lucky that she was very excited by the project. And she came aboard, and then that made it easier to cast the two younger leads because I I saw her, you know, once we realized that she accepted the role, then I could sort of picture her. Who could I picture her with was whom what I asked. And I watched a lot of actors and heard my words in their mouth and I saw what they could do. And the other two came very naturally. It was out like picking, you know, an obvious needle out of a haystack. Like I thought, oh, there's the needle and there's the needle. And then there weren't many choices once I saw them. It was very natural, the casting process. And they were, you know, worked wonderfully together. And then the other smaller parts, we had cast somebody in the role of the professor, and at the last minute, they couldn't do the dates that we needed. And so Molly reached out to her good friend Erin Costaganis, who was incredible, and the inner child, the little girl, is played by my daughter. So that was
Okay.
an easy person to cast.
That's so much fun. I
It
like
was so
that.
much fun. Oh,
You keep it in
and
the family.
she,
You get script notes from your dad and you cast your daughter.
yeah, 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 yeah.
All right.
Did a
Well,
lot
think.
of production work with my husband.
Oh,
So
heck.
it's all in the
Okay.
family. Yeah,
Shout
yeah,
out to the
yeah.
husband too. All
Yes,
right.
definitely.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I had fun chatting with you today.
I had
What's
such fun chatting with you, Michael.
Oh, thank you. What's your final message about your short film, A Nice Lady?
I guess the final message would be that I hope people go to see it and enjoy it at a film festival and look forward to, you know, when it becomes a feature and or a series. That would be my main message behind the film.
All right. Well,
Definitely.
lots of luck to you, and I want you to enjoy life.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Michael. It was great to talk to you.